What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Caleb McAllister here with the next NogiBJJgear.com Technique of the Month. Thank you guys for watching. Of course, I'm wearing all NogiBJJgear.com rash guard, shorts, etc. So go to their website, promo code Caleb, C-A-L-E-B, for an extra discount on top of their sale prices. What we're working on this month is a little bit different. We're going to be going through a flow instead of breaking down a single move or a single series of moves really in depth. We're going to be thinking about more general concepts, movement, and transitions. The moves are not going to be particularly complicated. If anything doesn't really make sense, feel free to message or comment. We'll break it down a little bit more in depth. But the starting position, I am going to be beginning from a front headlock sprawl position. Of course, there's many ways we could have gotten here. And we're going to begin with the same cowcatcher series that we did, I want to say about 2 moves ago. So you can go back for a really in-depth breakdown of that. So I'm controlling my opponent's jaw, I'm pummeling from the underhook, I'm going to put my opponent on his back, just like we talked about in that video. Once we get to this point here, and turn this way just a little bit, I'm going to release the chin strap so that I can get a nice front headlock, nice shoulder pressure and underhook control. Now I'm going to put my right hand on the mat, I'm going to meat hook my opponent's shoulder, I'm going to ratchet my left elbow towards my ribs, and I'm going to push my elbow towards the mat as I take my shoulder pressure off to pull him up on his side. As I post on the mat, I'm going to step around so that my right shin and knee point into his armpit, slide into a nice spinning arm bar. We're going to assume, for the sake of the drill, that he locks his hands together and defends. So I'm going to put some pressure with my leg so that I can bring my other leg across into more of a traditional arm bar. Once we go to here, I like to switch to my figure 4 grip simply for the control. You don't have to do that, but I like that grip. Other grips are obviously acceptable as well. Let's turn this away if you will, sir. And I'm going to use this to take my opponent's back now. So I'm going to take my left leg off of his head, fall to my right hip, put my hook in, put my other hook in. Notice that I'm keeping my left elbow back, so I've got a nice pillow. I don't want to bring my left arm all the way through where he can start controlling it. Once we get here, now I can start attacking the neck, doing whatever I want to do as far as my back offense. To continue the flow, to continue the drill, my opponent is now going to come up to his knees. And he's going to kick his right leg back so that he can start to clear that hook. And I'm not resisting, we're just continuing the movement for right now. But this is designed to help me practice what do I do when these types of transitions happen. If I'm on the back and he gets to his knees and he pops the leg out, which is a very common situation, what do I do next? To continue the flow, we're simply going to step over my opponent's head, go back into the sprawl, and now I'm in the exact same situation. If you want to do it on the other side, you can switch to the grips. We were right chin strap, left arm pummeling to the underhook. Of course, I can switch and do the same thing on the other side. Let's rotate. So you're on my left, sir. And now you guys can see the exact same flow from the other side. So, chin strap, underhook, put my opponent on his back, release the headlock. Head and arm, nice tight side control. Meat hook the shoulder, ratchet the elbow, pull him up on his side. Post, step around, knee into the armpit, nice tight spinning arm bar. My opponent locks his hands together. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go for my figure 4 first. You can do it before or after. I'm going to put pressure on my opponent's head, curl my heel in, lean to my right so I can bring my leg across. Now I'm in a nice traditional arm bar. I decide that I don't want to try to break the grips, so I'm going to take my leg off of his head, fall to the back. Remember to keep that pillow. See where my right elbow is underneath my opponent's head, not out in front where he can control it. And I can now start playing my back attack game. Once I get to here, we're going to assume for the sake of the drill that he decides to come up to his knees. Let's go this way so that we don't run into the wall. And he pops his hook back. As soon as I feel that happening, I step over my opponent's head and I am right back into the same position again. Let's do it one more time, just a little bit quicker, so I won't talk quite as much this time. Cowcatcher, control, underhook, spinning arm bar, switch my grips, bring my leg over, take my leg off his head, go to the back, he decides he wants to come up to his knees, come with it, he takes the hook out, step over, and I'm right back to the same position again. As I said, there's no reason why you're going to have to go through all of these transitions, but it's a great way to practice them in a continuous motion. You can rep that out a whole bunch of times in a very short period. And I do find, maybe this is just me, that a lot of the flows that you see on social media tend to be a little flashy and a little bit impractical. hey, they're fun, they look cool. Everything that we just did is very basic. There's nothing all that flashy about side control to armbar to back, back to front headlock. That's all simple stuff. But there's gonna be times that your opponent locks their arms together, you don't have time to break it, and you need to get to the back. There's gonna be times that you are on the back, your opponent pops the hook out, and you're gonna need to do something other than sit there and fall to bottom side control. Being able to practice those transitions instinctively when you don't have time to think about where you want to wind up is gonna make your game sharper when you don't have time to think. So that's why I like these types of transitions. Thank you, sir, for the help. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As I said, I'm not breaking down the details of these moves super in depth because they're not super complicated, but please feel free if you have any questions or something you want me to address more in depth. Message, comment, etc. Thank you guys. I'll see you later.